And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the big day, the grand final of the Rivals World Championship 2022 between DaniButa, the reigning world champion, and the buff guy, the very first console player ever to make it to the final of the World Championship. I have an awesome cast with me today for the final. I'll introduce them one by one. First up, let's start with Joker. Welcome, Joker. How are you doing? Nice, glad to hear. Second up, we got Observer. How you doing, man? Welcome. It should be actually absolutely amazing. And last but not least, Mr. Barbecue. Welcome on in. Wait, some slight audio issues. Can you guys say something if it's fixed now?
Hello?
Testing.
Hello.
Hello. It should all be fine now.
Testing.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, quick little recap. Welcome, Joker. Welcome, Observer. Welcome, Barbecue, on this grand day for roulette. Welcome, everyone, guys.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. But
Glad to
I
be
mean, it
here.
wouldn't be a roulette shoutcast without some audio issues, of course. Have to keep the
course.
tradition going. But yeah, welcome, guys. Also, a welcome to Mando and Nezuko-chan. They're also part of the caster team. They will be casting map 5 and map 6. So you can look forward to that later on. And a big shout out to Yanini, who will be the main admin for this grand final, which is very much appreciated as well. So yeah, welcome. Guys, we have a lot to talk about before the grand final starts. Let's discuss the map picks first. Let's start with Danny's map picks. Joker, what are your first initial thoughts about these 5 map picks from Danny?
I think that's what you want. The Dartmoor was inevitable, I think, from anyone against Buff. It's, he probably says it is one of his most hated maps. And against Buff, he's very good on the big 5, and it's the short maps that you will catch him out on most of the time. And Dartmoor, Dubai, Paris, Hokkaido, very short maps. Colorado breaks the streak a little bit, but again, Danny's very good on Colorado. He's very sensible on it, and he's great on all these maps, and you can understand why he's picked them. Just that speed that Danny's so known for. That he'll even bring that speed into them bigger maps on Colorado, and still manage to just play safe and do things that I would never dare to do, just because of the risk. But he can just do it flawlessly all the time.
Yeah, absolutely amazing players. Observer, do you share that sentiment of what Joker just said about Danny's
Yeah.
map picks? Does it make sense
Definitely.
to you, these picks?
Yeah, I think short maps really do favor Danny, and definitely I was even just checking the records there, and I think those first 4 maps are some of the shortest of the 5 records that we have that are like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. It just shows how short they can get. Then when it comes to buff guys, you see Ambrose, Santa Fortuna, Sapienza, you can get some really long ones. And Buff is known for his consistency and his amazing videos and teaching us how to not rip late on. So that's definitely going to favor him, and I think he's pretty happy with those maps as well, I'd assume.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, buff guy known for being a big fan of the big 5 maps. Actually, when looking about it, some of them were banned, of course, by Dani, but no Berlin, no Mumbai, as for the big maps. Barbecue, what are your thoughts on the buff guys picks? Do you think these are smart picks against a player like Danny?
Well, that's a tough question to answer. I think that what was guiding Buff's picks here, I feel like he picked maps that he feels very strong on. I think Danny's picks kind of reflect more of like a technical pick against Buff. He's picking maps that he expects Buff might struggle against, but I think Buff's picks are kind of more in line with what he would say he feels strong on. Chongqing, as he would say. Ambrose, Santa Fortuna, Sapienza, these are all maps that we know Buff is super practiced and confident in. So I think he's kind of going into this not worrying so much about where Danny might get tripped up, and he's just trying to stick with what he feels comfortable on. So that's my kind of take on Buff's picks.
That's well thought out, Barbecue, and yeah, it makes a lot of sense what you're saying there. Do you think the same thought process applies to Danny here? to like copy your words, projecting it on Danny, or did he take a different approach in your eyes?
I think Danny is trying. I think some of his picks here seem a little bit more pointed in that he's expecting Buff to not do as well. For instance, starting off on Dartmoor, that's very obviously Buff is a very vocal Dartmoor non-enjoyer, so for Danny to kind of pick that right out of the gate kind of shows his intentions, I think, and then to follow it up with Dubai and Paris, I think that it's definitely he's looking to exploit where he expects to see some weakness from Buff. So we'll see if Buff actually, we'll see how he plays on these maps. I'm very excited to see how he performs.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, both of these players made it to the grand final of the World Championship, so I'm not sure to what extent we can talk about weaknesses for both these guys. But yeah, the map pick game is always very interesting in the grand final. Of course, you want to play to your own strengths, but you also want to exploit the other weaknesses. But as said, these two players don't have that many weaknesses, I would say. Joker, I want to turn to you, and let me switch the scene as well. Let's talk about the road to the final for these two guys. Starting with Danny, how did it go for him? A quick recap from your point of view.
Well, yeah, look, he's been flawless throughout the KO stage. I think for the group stage, where he came third in that Group A, to his standards, it wasn't the best. He got swept for the first time ever. By yourself, of course. He lost to Mika in what was arguably one of the best games we had this entire tournament, and he lost maps he drew in Marrakesh. To his standards, before hello, what's happened with Danny here? He wasn't playing the greatest, but he's coming to the KO stage. He swept Rustle, who was a very impressive rookie in this groups. Beat Blythe, he's beat Observer, he's beat Mika all 6-2. Then had a bit of a fumble almost against the Timekeeper, winning 6-4. I love it. Danny winning 6-4 is known as a stumble. It's great. But yeah, I mean, to go through 5 games of KO stage and lose 5 maps shows how dominant of a player he is. And it's not like he just focuses on one map. He's won the whole range of maps. He's won the Havens, he's won the Dartmoors, he's won all the maps in between. So you really can't fault him. He bounced back amazingly after that shaky group stage, and what he's done in the KO stage is what Danny does best, and what we've seen from him previously in the past RRWC and RR9.
Yeah, and it's arguably the best time to start shining, of course, once you make it to the KO state. Yeah, he's been absolutely phenomenal, really. Also, look at the opponents that he's beat along the way, including you, Observer. How was your experience in that match?
Yeah, people are aware of Danny's at least his the scaredness, because he's a runner-up, or not even a runner-up, the reigning champion of RRWC and the previous RR, so it is a big name to go against regardless, and that mentally enough is going to get you scared. But yeah, just such a fast player. I think people would definitely call him that, and these short maps have been favouring him a lot lately, but when he needs to do well on those long maps as well, he can really push himself, and he's a really great player, and not surprised he got to the final. And yeah, Buff Guy fought his way up, and it's just going to be crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of the other finalist, the Buff Guy, of course, coming from the loser bracket, how would you describe his journey, Barbecue?
So he did end up down there in the losers bracket, as you just mentioned, but he wasn't always there. He started out in round 1 in the winners bracket, went off up against Blunts, and got a 6-2 win, advanced to round 2 where he faced off against Kaneda. I believe that it's not the first time Buff and Kaneda have danced there, and it was a close match, but Buff did win and advanced to round 3 where he faced off against GK Punk, and GK Punk very unkindly sent him down into the losers bracket after that match. So Buff down there in the losers bracket, losers round 4, he arrived and was greeted by Z-Rune, and obviously we know the rest of the story here. Buff just crushed his way through the lower bracket. He pulled one over on Z-Rune. He was superior in the match against Yanini, and then he showed that he was better than Mika in losers round 6, and rematched with GK Punk as well at the the semifinal, the losers bracket final. to determine who was going to end up in this match against Danny, and he got revenge on GK Punk and earned himself the spot in this grand finals. So it has been a really awesome and dramatic journey, especially for Buff through the brackets here. And I'm so happy that he's ended up in this matchup, and I'm just so excited and can't wait to see how this all shakes out.
Yeah, we all are. Of course, he also still had to go through the time cube in the loser bracket final, which he
Sure.
did successfully. And again, guys, I said it at the start. We do have a unique situation or a new situation in the sense of it's the very first time that a console player made it to the grand final of the World Championship. This is, of course, the 3rd edition. Joker, you as a fellow console player, does that fill you with pride and hope? It's very nice to see.
Yeah, that is fantastic to see. Like, we've had Fanian win R8 and R9. Buff's just been up there. You know, he came runners up in RR7 and RR9. You know, losing the final there. He came third in R8, so he's always been at the top of the console this year. And it's just so great to see a console player, whether that be him or Fanian or Daka, whoever. It's just so good to see a console player up there. You know, it's made me really happy just to see a console player there for once, because, you know, like, there's always this thing that console players, the PC players are better than console, and to some extent, yeah, that's probably is true. But just to have a console player and an old gen console player as well, because we know how much that can affect someone, especially with them loads and the frame rates, and that can actually affect them. And to see Buff just put that style and still just beat everyone, it's great to see. And I'm so happy just to have a console player there, whoever it is.
Yeah, well said, man. Well said. Anything to add to that, Observer?
No, just people do say console may seem like it's a tiny bit inferior to PC in its like full capabilities, but Buff Guy and even Joker himself are just testament to that. It's really the player behind the controller that's able to bring that skill to the next level and be the first person to get to a RCW final, like you just said, and could be the first person to take home a console win for RWC. And not to even downplay, Danny could be the first player to get a 2-time RWC championship, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you are not mistaken, because he is the reigning champion. Of course, he made his actual debut for Roulette in the previous World Championship, and what a debut that was. Managed to win the whole thing. Then, of course, RR9 win as well, the previous RR tournament. So, very strong display from Danny this year in 2022. Definitely the most dominant player overall, looking at the results.
Can I just add on to that really quick about you guys were sort of echoing that, you know, this is a console player who's ended up in the RRWC Grand Finals, which is really awesome. And obviously, most people who play roulette know that console players might kind of feel like they have a bit of a disadvantage with loading times and slower inputs. It's harder to do some of the triple shot aims or the crazy shots. You know, you just can't aim as quickly and stuff like that. So for Buff to have ended up here really speaks to, I think, just how good of a player he is, and also any of the console players who end up in a finals, just they really play at the top of their game, and they can squeeze out just every bit of performance that they can to go toe-to-toe with a player like Danny, who's, you know, who will melt your brain with his skills, but he's doing it with a mouse and keyboard. So for Buff to get here on a console, I think is just really speaks to how well he plays.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even Buff himself didn't expect him to get this far, but his performance, especially in the KO stages, have just been absolutely phenomenal. It's absolutely great to see. But also for the players that finished third and fourth, fifth, sixth, like this whole tournament, all these last matches, they were so super close. And we talked about this right before we went live, guys. Like at this skill level with like a bunch of players that are so evenly matched, like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them or so. It's really the form of the day. How much of a factor will that be today, Joker?
Yeah, we saw it with Danny's R9 final fun, as you said beforehand. Like any other day, it could be a completely different result, and you're gonna have to be on your top of the game today. You know, on any of the maps, you know, we don't particularly see a long map till Santa, but even on Santa, one rip, and good luck trying to win that map, because if Danny rips, Buff will just punish that. And if Buff rips, Danny will punish it. You have to be on your own game. You're going to have to ensure you don't rip, of course. That's the whole point. You just get to the exit. But you have to go quick as well. Buff, you could just sit back and do the safe shots, but Danny is more than capable of just flying through Santa Fortuna in 5 minutes, as he has done already once this RWC. So it's just that balance of playing quick and safe they're going to have to find today. And that's where I think Buff might struggle with that, because it's Dartmoor to start things off. Danny's obviously the favourite on that map, and he will go very quick on it. It's just you want to have that momentum off the start, just to say, okay, I've got the first map win. Right, that's sorted. I'll take my own pick, etc. I can move on from this, but you don't want to lose that first night. You don't want to have that momentum against you for the start of the game, and then because if you lose one map, you get in your head, and that's when it starts going downhill, especially on the Santa Fortuna, for example. If you rip once, of course, you're not out of it yet. But once you rip, you get in your own head, especially if you're playing one of these players. You think, well, that's it, I've lost the map. So it's just that they need to also have that positive mindset as well. I could still be in it, even if I do rip. I shall keep playing my game. If I rip, put it behind me, it's not over till it's over. That sort of thing. I can think about the rips after the game, win or lose.
Yeah, true. And of course, it is a grand final, so it's actually first to 10 maps, which does allow a lot of room to come back from it. It's more of an endurance race as well, keeping your focus for that amount of maps, of course. I mean, it could be over after 5 maps, but we could go the full way, referring back to the very first World Championship between Infofan and Janini, of course. Went to 9-9 in the final map. Are you expecting something similar to happen today, Observer?
Yeah, I would love to see a good fight to the end. A 9-9 is the dream. Of course, not for the players, as we always say, because that's too much of an endurance race, I think, for anybody to go through, especially with this RWC. Danny having a bit of a break between his final round and this one. So mentally, I can't imagine the toll that's having on him. As we even saw him in chat earlier saying he's nervous as hell, which I do not blame either player. But yeah, I would like to see a good fight, as always. Regardless of their form, it's always nice to see them get a couple of maps off of each other. And I do hope nobody goes away from this disappointed in their performance or how they felt.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't agree more. And that's another aspect of roulette rival tournament matches, right, guys? It is actually mentally quite exhausting. Like, even if you're just playing a first to 6 map, let alone first to 10 points. What do you make of that, Barbecue? The endurance factor. How big of a factor will that be? Besides skill, of course, and form of the day.
It's going to be huge. It's everything, honestly. It's probably the most influential thing, I think, at this stage in the game, because these guys are both so skilled and knowledgeable about the game that it really kind of just feels like a coin toss sometimes, as far as like who we think could win. So it really just does come down to who can manage that pressure better, who can kind of keep a handle like on their anxiety and their stress, because I know that the roulette players out there understand what this game and what roulette mode will do to you in terms of like just your anxiety and your heart rate and all this stuff. So like you really got to come into this match, you got to be rested, you got to have some good food in your stomach, you got to like take care of yourself and be in top form as best as you can, because if you've been up all night and you're drinking energy drinks, and you're really going to have a hard time. So I just hope that these guys can manage the stress of the back and forth, the wins, the losses, the rips, the replans, whatever it may be. It's just a constant assault of things on your ability to maintain and perform. And I just hope that these guys both do their best with managing that and can have fun in spite of the challenge of competing. It's really just about if it's fun or not, and hopefully we'll see them having a great time.
Yeah, very well said. And yeah, another mental aspect which I personally struggle the most with, or find the hardest, is whenever the game screws you over, or you just make a dumb, silly mistake yourself that costs you the map, to then like move past it, forget about it, and keep your focus going, instead of like in your mind just obsessing over that mistake or the game screwing you over and being stuck in that and like completely throwing your performance out of the window. What do you make of that observer, of that mental aspect? How do you
Yeah.
experience that yourself?
I 100% agree. Whether people think it or not, you do have maps you favor going into a match. So you could say, for example, Buffet might be looking at Ambrose. He's put his time in. If you lose that, because we don't know the practice that goes in behind these, if you lose that and you feel like you were supposed to take that map, even though at the end of the day, it really is 50-50 who just is a tiny bit faster if someone has a rip, it really does affect you mentally. And it's such a good thing to move on, realize it's just 2 points, it's first to 10. It literally doesn't matter. I'm going to take the next 3 maps. Being able to just brush it off is so vitally important for either player, because at the end of the day, 1 map helps, but it's down to 5 of them. So like we were saying earlier, it's endurance and consistency that actually pays off, not that 1 good map that you have. So I definitely agree that it's definitely vital they move on and forget about any mistakes they make.
Yeah, but it can be so hard to do so, right? Especially
Yeah.
when the game does everything in its power to just screw you over. Joker, any thoughts on that subject?
No, it's exactly the same. You know, it's a lot easier said than done just to put the rips behind you. That's the most important thing. Whatever you do, whether or not, you just have to take the map loss, walk away for your monitor for a minute, and just look to yourself. I remember for story mine, literally just got up, looked in the mirror, and went, "Come on, mate." Just sat back down. You playing, you just had to cycle around, whether it's listening to music, just taking a moment, just a breather, just pausing, anything, just to help you forget about it and just move on. Because thinking about it ain't going to change the outcome. You know, it's happened. You can't change it. Move on. Again, it's easier said than done, but that's what they're going to have to do. Say Danny and Buff. If the game doesn't go their way, oh well. It happens in this game. It's just unlucky it happens in the grand final of the biggest roulette event, and that's sometimes how it falls. And yeah, it's just about trying to forget about it as quick as you can. Just saying, all right, don't matter now. It's in the past, and moving on about it.
Yeah, exactly. And let's hope both players are able to do so. I did put the prediction out a few minutes ago, guys. It should still be live for another 8 minutes before the first match starts. I'll quickly run down the order of the casting teams. Joker and me will be covering the first 2 maps. Then we got the duo of Barbecue and Dead Observer covering map 3 and 4. Then, as mentioned earlier, we have the team of Mando and Zuko-chan covering map 5 and map 6. If it gets to that, map 7 and 8 is back to me and Joker. And the last 2, if it comes to that, we'll finish off with Dead Observer and Barbecue. So we got 3 duos, and of course Janini as the admin. So guys, we're about less than 7 minutes away before I start the duo cast with Joker for the first 2 map. I want to hear some predictions here from you guys. Let's start with Dead Observer here.
Oh God, you would have started with me, wouldn't you?
You know me.
Let me think. Oh, it's really hard to say. I do have. Are we going map by map? Are we thinking, or do we want to do a final score for the whole thing?
Let's just stick with the final score.
I'm gonna say. Oh, wow. I'm gonna say 10-6 to Danny. Will be the final score.
10-6 to Danny is Observer's call. All right, I wrote that down. Barb, what about you?
Oh, I'm gonna say 7 Danny, 10 Buff.
All right, all right. So you're expecting to see a photo finish draw somewhere, I guess?
Possibly, maybe on Dartmoor right off the bat, but you know, time will tell.
That would
It's
be
only numbers, right?
that would be a cool start, the photo finish draw for the very first map of the grand final. And last but not least, Joker.
Oh,
What is your
I've had
prediction?
I've had time to think about it, and I still don't know. Like, it can literally go anyway. The worst part is about this, like, Danny could sweep 10-0, Buff could sweep 10-0. And I don't want to see it, no one wants to see that, but I mean, that's the reality that can happen, especially given these first 5 maps. But I'm going to have to back Buff here, the console boy. I'm going to go 10-8 Buff.
All right, fair enough. I'll just say 10-8 to Danny then, as a fellow PC player. So yeah, even just looking by our 4 prediction, guys, it's very even. It's 2 against 2. very similar scores as well. We are about 5 minutes away from the first map. I'm gonna ask that observer and Barb to take a step back, and then me and Joker will talk about his favorite map, the first map of the grand final, Dartmoor, and then we'll see both of you guys back for map 3 and 4.
All right. Have fun, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, see you soon. Enjoy.
Thank you, thank you. All right, Joker, the very first map, Dartmoor. One could say that you're a Dartmoor enthusiast. You do hold the current record as well, as you might have mentioned once or twice during the tournament, 127.
Nah, really?
Looking at the stats here at the moment, there must be something wrong with the connection, because both of them are on a clean sheet, and I doubt that's correct with these two players.
Yeah, no, not all. Danny, he's played Dartmoor 9 times. It's just going to be his 10th time playing Dartmoor. He's won it 7. So, he's only lost Dartmoor twice, which is very impressive. On a map that's unlabeled a coin flip, and you've gone here 9 times and only lost it twice. It does label it buffs a bit on the other end here. He's played it 7 times, so a bit less experience than Danny, but again, that is the literal 3 minutes less experience. Consider it. He's played it 7 times, of course. Won 3 drawn, lost 3 even. He has had that one photo finish tie, which I can't remember who that was against. Ducker in RR9.
Yeah.
It was actually.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so the photo finish tie. I really doubt we will see a tie due to time on Dartmoor. It'll have to be playing master difficulty and an Undertaker hatches or something like that to make it happen. But I mean, yeah, Danny's he's so good on the quick maps and Buff not.
I mean, unless we
Dartmoor
see consume poison, right? That has potential for photo finish or guarding of the loading times.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just you see consume poison, and because it's a 235 to kill, you just stop consumed in your loadout and load in. As long as you don't go upstairs, you're fine. You just don't want to do that Alexa conversation. That's all you don't want to do. If you trigger Alexa, just restart, because the kill will not happen if you trigger Alexa. So it's just all about just being aware of that, having that back in your mind. Just don't trigger Alexa with consume poison, and you're fine. But yes, consume poison, I would not want to see it. I will label it as actually the one thing about Dartmoor is boring is consume poison. The rest I don't like. The rest I like. Consume poison. Get it out.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with that, or at least with that kill. We do see Buff Guy already being live. We're still waiting for Danny, a little less than 2 minutes. And yeah, these guys must be feeling so tense at the moment for a grand final, Joker. I bet at this moment, if I were in their shoes, I just wanted to get the final to start with. These last minutes before the actual starting sign are the absolute worst. Would you agree with that?
Oh, they're the worst, and for some reason I always need to go to the toilet 2 minutes before every game, and I don't need to. I go the entire day. Don't need to go. Okay, and then that's when the game comes. You're waiting 3 minutes. Oh, go typical. But I mean, yeah, I'm just nervous sitting here on my chair casting it. It is going to be very nervous. Of course, you're gonna be nervous, but I mean, you're in the grand final, you're there for a reason. Then you need to brush them nerves aside just for the next 2 hours, however long it may be. Just forget about everything else. It's just you in the game. It's just you in the spin, and just hope the game's nice to you, and just play how you have been the entire tournament. That's why they're here. They've been playing very well. They deserve to be here. Hopefully they can just carry that on into a nervous grand final.
Yeah, I'm expecting wonderful performances from both players. Of course, Buff Guy didn't have the best preparation, of course. The final was delayed because he was out of town for several days. Just came off a 16-hour work shift as well. So the odds are not in his favor in that regard. But he is here regardless. And Buff, as any, can keep his mental composure. We have Danny live as well. We're 15 seconds away. I'll have the in-game audio up on the left side for now, if Danny has in-game audio. 5 seconds away. Joker, you as Mr. Dartmoor, of course, can have the honor for the very first spin. Good luck to both finalists.
I would love to, and it is a fun object as the suit. Wow, wow, wow. My record's in danger is the first thing to say here. It is a very
This is
quick spin.
This is
We see Danny right away look right in there. Not even 5 seconds of time. If that and it is the typical speedrun route, I would label this as what? 110 max. Which does label it. So I'm scared. I'm a scared man seeing that record gone. But yeah, Buff's in as well. We're going to see Buff anyways behind because these naturally long loads. But yeah, Danny is just loading in body shot on everyone. It's the standard Sasso route, isn't it?
Yeah, it just looks so practice, especially this is just a convenient spin, like you said, Joker. Like nothing too much out of the way. It's just almost
Ooh,
tech
a
box, I
rip
would
there
say. But
from
there's a
Danny.
rip for Danny, and that could
Yeah,
be huge already.
That is huge. And Buff is going to go this safer method through. He's going to just hide behind the door. Fernsby is going to do it the safer way. I mean, look, he's got that lead. He's got the loads. It's not the start Danny would have wanted. Buff will be very happy with that. But I mean, he starts to do it. You know, does get tranked on the Fernsby there, as expected.
Does get it.
Not
And,
trespassing.
yeah, it's in Buff's hand now. Like no rip on Dartmoor,
Yeah.
while the other rips, that's basically end of story unless something really weird's happened. But Buff guy is already aligning his pistol shot. Does a quick distraction shot as well. Very nicely done. Gets the falling object kill on Alexa
Just
there, and
needs
that's quick.
Becca. That's very good. And of course, he has the trank, but you have to do pistol shots to get out of this area. He's have no more tranks. Of course, he swapped out for a pistol. Usually with this, you have two, but Danny here, look at this. Distraction shots everywhere, panics everywhere. Buff does get a trank off onto Rebecca.
And that can
It's
always be
just a funny
scary, right?
exit.
That Rebecca shot there. I've seen a lot of players rip that, trying to do it too quick. Or just
Buff
like
just
an
needs to
unlucky
lift
head
those
turn,
tracks.
but this is looking really good. Just one
The
agent on
whoosh,
his way.
though, the whoosh is not what Buffalo wants at all.
Dude, fuck!
The guards
Ooh,
are
and look
caught
at
in
this,
the dust.
Danny's actually finishing earlier.
Yeah, the guard not responding at all. Buff will get a distraction shot off. He just needs to run to the exit here. He
Ooh,
will
that was-
exit.
That's so dumb!
Gets the exit. Nice bit of improv there from Buff. Well handled at the end. And, well, we saw perhaps that photo finish draw could kick things off. And perhaps it will.
I mean, Danny had a restart, but Buff has the console loading, of course. So this might still be really close. Danny did finish first. If we look at the in-game time, Danny well over half a minute faster here. And we just got it in. Janini, the admin, posted it. It is a photo finish. Danny finished 1 second earlier.
Well,
That's interesting
crazy.
though, because Danny on
Oh my
PC,
God,
of course,
total finish
he
in
had
10
the restart.
earlier?
Let's mute Buff there for a second. But yeah, one restart for Danny, so two times loading. Buff didn't rip, but he's on console. This might go to Buff. What do you think?
yeah, I think it will go to Buff. Quite frankly, I don't think Danny will be able to get off. Okay, I'm going to have to estimate Buff here is going to have, what, minimum 15-second loads here. I don't think Danny, who will be on a good PC, I can't see him loading for
Yeah,
more
and
than,
it's
like, 8
Dartmoor.
seconds.
Like even if you have a bad PC,
Yeah,
it's
it's
not
short-
gonna
yeah,
take.
small
It's
stuff,
not
yeah.
gonna take that long. Like 5 seconds tops. Especially the second load in, like after the restart. If he didn't preload, I got a feeling that this is Buff's map with only 1 second.
Yeah, I mean, preload or not, I will have to favour Buff here. And, well, we looked at Danny perhaps in the favour of this map, but this will be huge for Buff winning this first map.
Absolutely.
He's so high. Look, he hates Dartmoor, and he's taken a map off Danny that is Dartmoor. Wow, he's gonna be so high off himself, and so
Honestly,
good for him.
I reckon Buff guy would even be happy with a 1-1, like a photo finish draw.
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%.
Against Danny, I'd take that.
Yeah. To go out the first map that is arguably the map you hate the most, one of your worst maps, to come out of that against DaniButa and not lose it, wow, that's great for Buff.
Yeah,
That's what
definitely.
you want.
And yeah, honestly, with the loading times, I'm expecting to see a Buff guy map winner here, and at the very least a draw. He's definitely not gonna lose it with only a second lead for Danny there. But yeah, what a start!
No, yeah, it was. See, look, Dartmoor is a bit entertaining. Everyone's loving it. See, everyone's.
Yeah, but
Some-
also just goes to show at this level, just like one rip is
Exactly.
It's just enough. Doesn't matter if you're so much faster, because again, Danny did have a much better in-game time, 58 seconds compared to what, 131 or roughly, something like that. That's a huge difference for Dartmoor terms, 30 seconds. And there we have it, guys. We do have Buff Guy taking the map pick of Danny, the very first map of the grand final. And we can see how happy Buff is here. He can't believe it that he took Dartmoor off of Danny. What an amazing start there, and that's Danny on the back foot already. And we're on to Chongqing here, guys. Let me pay out the predictions here quick. Joker, what did you make of that Dartmoor?
I mean, yeah, it's great. I mean, just listening to Buff's reaction now, I don't think I've ever seen a man so happy about Dartmoor ever. So that's always great to see. And well, it's a great start for Buff, isn't it? We talked about that one rip costing you, and it's happened for Danny there. I mean, he did great to come back from that rip and just put it behind him right away. But I mean, Buff had the slow in game time, but it worked for him. And here we are. Buff takes a 2-0 lead on the first map, and we're now going to his first map pick as well, a map that he'll be very high. When we talked about Buff's picks beforehand, that Danny would have picked maps that Buff is weaker at, whatever Danny's at. Buff is just going to pick map he likes and what he's good at, because quite frankly, Danny is fantastic on everything. You know, sometimes when you're playing
much.
Danny,
I mean, Danny still has his stronger maps, of course. Like still the smaller maps are his best maps, but still overall, like you said, he's strong on every map. I do think Chongqing is an interesting choice here.
Oh yeah, it's I love the map, quite frankly. Yes, it's very linear in the sense that, okay, you isolate Hush first within, 1 minute 30 max. Then you go just kill or use the drones for imaging, you escape, etc. And, you know, what observers found in terms of the, again, Hush first cycles of facility engineer, the facility guard, has really helped it be a quicker map, and also the specifics of the shooting a drone at the 148 mark, almost to just go straight down and kill imaging and just come out data core, exit right there. Look, we saw Dartmoor being a record spin. Look, will I be surprised if this China is a record? No, I wouldn't. I could very easily see us going in the favour of either way, and a record on the card. And you know, we have what maps? China, Ambrose, probably the 2 maps I would say if the record was to be beaten in the grand final, I'd probably have to go with them too.
I mean, it's always spin dependent, of course. But yeah, I find it hard to point out a favorite here on Chongqing between the two. Like, the first map was obviously Danny's was the favorite there, but as we could see, that doesn't mean anything if your opponent wins it. But here, with this one, I feel this is much closer to a 50-50 than the initial Dartmoor was for Danny here.
Yeah, and the stats are pretty much identical. The only difference is the extra loss on it. And other than that, it's going to be a quick one. And I said that like the first 5 maps are. This is going to be one of the longer ones out of the 5. But I mean, looking at this, Buff will have that just joy of winning Dartmoor, and he will carry that on here. He will just play, hopefully, with a smile on his face for his map, and hopefully it works for him.
And a lot less pressure, right? Because he was expecting, as we could see by his reaction, he was expecting to go down 2-0 with starting with Dartmoor. And then he'd already have some pressure on his own map pick, because you don't want to get down 4-0 right at the start already. And now it's more like, nice, I got those 2 points already, didn't expect them. So even if China doesn't go my way, I'm still in a very, very good spot for the rest of the final, of course. Predictions are up, chat. The previous ones are paid out, so feel free to bet. Looking at it, Joker, it's pretty even. The bets from chat, so they're agreeing with us. This is going to be very close for both players, 30 seconds away. It's very similar lifetime performance stats as well there, Joker.
Yeah, as I said, you know, Buff only with that 1 extra loss. It's really hard to label a favourite as it is going to be every at the 2-time maps again. It's going to be one of the shorter ones. Danny is always going to be the favourite, in my opinion, for the maps, because, you know, of how strong a player he can be. But Buff prove us wrong on Dartmoor, and here we are with him tuning up on Chongqing.
And let's see what we have. We got for Hush Explosion accident as the facility guard, and Imogen Roy's sniper rifle as perfect test subject. This could be quick. This is a block guard start, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, it'll have to be that. Just you can grab a sniper off the bat, you can do the hush kill remotely. I think anything else, actually, it would have been an insta-lock facility analyst start with a baseball, or just a pistol even. But yeah, I mean, look at Danny. He's just got the taser, he's got the propane flask to do so, the test subject, and the 341 recce from Blythe. Even with a spin like this, where you can get Imogen killed. Oh look, I'm gonna have to say for this one, as with Dartmoor, we could have a potential recce here, but yes, it's a potential recce, but you have to do the spin. You still have to do the spin.
Yeah, you have to stay focused, no mistakes whatsoever, and the game not screwing you over. We have Danny already having a 25-second in-game lead. Of course, big part of that is Buff's loading times here. Does go with a different start. It is interesting from Buff. He starts in the suit there.
I think that may be because of the sniper. The Chongqing pickups perhaps aren't the best, but I mean, if you're starting block guard, which you are with this spin, doesn't make much difference, you could say. But yeah, it's very interesting. Yes.
No,
Danny showing why it's good.
always cool to see different starts here, of course. We'll see who had the better idea in the end, of course. Danny now working on the knockouts for Hush. Of course, doesn't have to hide any bodies, but we're gonna see an exit kill here with the propane, which he will be recovering right now. Buff guy also making his way into the block. I'd say small lead here for Danny, nonetheless.
Yeah, totally. He's going to have his fast kills set up. Buff, I mean, he won't particularly be that far behind. But in terms of the start, it will be quicker for sure for Danny. He's going to get a great time in terms of shooting the drone for Imogen. In that regard, it's going to be great for him. We'll just move Hush a little bit, though, just to perhaps avoid the risk of MTKs. Even though you should be pretty fine, but you're
better be safe than sorry, then, of course. Does have the propane set up. Will be making his way over to the perfect test subject here.
Yeah. Fortunately for him, it's a bit of the research. He can just run it. He is allowed to do so. I'd rather have the test subject like this because, no GRB with a mirror. There's no risk of that.
Definitely. And even then, the side KOs can still always be scary in Hitman, but then he does pull it off. Is in the perfect test subject. Will be making his way down to Imogen Royce. Has the sniper in his briefcase. Buff is making some nice ground here as well, though. Has the same disguise and the sniper. Doesn't have the propane yet, if I'm not mistaken.
No, we have to go down and do that. But again, not that far behind, really. When we saw the extent of the difference in leads, in loads, very much difference, but Danny is very close to the finish line here. We see Imaging X in the data core now. The camera bot's taken out. Danny's going to be done in the next 30 seconds.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's another factor, of course, the timing of when players shoot a drone.
Yeah, because with this timing, you get Imogen as soon as she comes out data core. You have the dongle exit right there. Wow, boss. You just have to trank her guard and you're out of there. And this is what we see from Danny. It's so nice to see. Yeah, we'd actually go over a knockout anyways. Has no tranks.
Yeah, very convenient spin for this setup and this timing as well with the drone shot. This is absolutely perfect with the facility guard being the kill for Harsh.
Yeah, you can knock him out right there, but Danny is just going to play it safe, and that's what he's done perfectly there. Gets to go onto the Imogen, swaps into the facility guard. We'll Detto Hush. Danny.
Easy.
Should we take him tie 2-2 after that very lovely clean Chongqing, and that's what we expected Danny here. Again, you expect again another better in-game time than Buff.
Yeah, absolutely solid here from Danny. Faster strat. He loaded in quicker, no mistakes. We can see it from the in-game time as well with the timing of the drone shots and just the starting locations. Like Danny had just a superior route here, just outplayed here really, and that makes it 2-2 here, Joker. You love to see it after two maps for the grand final, of course.
Yeah, taking each other's map picks as well. It shows how even and close these two are, and nothing more was expected. This is what we expected from these two. Close games, and well, it's going to be a great game. And look, when I say go either way at the start of my prediction, 10-8 is very much on the cards here.
Exactly. And, well, on to map 3 with a 2-2 score at the moment. This is Dubai. We will have Barbecue and Observer, who should be on standby and ready.
Downstairs, kill her, grab the fucking bodyguard, blow up Hush, exit fucking.
Hello.
Hello, welcome in, guys. What a match so far. You love to see it 2-2 after the first 2 maps. On to map 3. We let you guys take over. Have a lot of fun, guys.
Sounds good. Thank you, Frode. Thank you, Joker.
Thank you.
All right, so players are evenly matched up. 2 points for Danny, 2 points for Buff, and 2 maps down, possibly 8 to go. So how are those first 2 maps for you, Observer? Any thoughts or feelings you need to get off your chest?
Yeah, I'd say first thing out the gate is I would not have put down Buff to take Dartmoor and Danny to take Chongqing. It would have been the exact opposite if I had to put money on it.
If I was a betting man, I would have made the same bet. Yep.
So what a start. You can't ask for a better start to a final. It just goes to show it doesn't matter how much practice you put in. It's that one spin, that one form, how you're feeling. And all it took was one mistake, like we said. And Danny just had that one tiny mistake. And Buff has his loading time. So, yeah, what a first 2 maps. And we have another couple of short ones coming up, especially Dubai. It's going to be good.
I'm pretty sure that Dartmoor may have made Buff like the map a little bit more. We'll have to confirm that in the interview, but I think he might like Dartmoor a little bit more. But we'll find out for sure. But yeah, so now we're heading into the second round of map picks here. Maps 3 and 4, Danny has chosen another fast map because, as Frody was saying before, that Danny is sort of a reputed a force to be reckoned with on these fast maps, and so even though he kind of stumbled a little bit on Dartmoor and let Buff take that pick, he certainly is looking pretty fearsome here, showing off a bit of pre-game, just working through some muscle memory and getting warmed up. Buff, meanwhile, just chilling on the menu screen, talking, trying to center his thoughts, maybe.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes you need that little bit of a breather, and Buff does seem to be the kind of person. Sometimes not playing right before the spin comes live can help you kind of get rid of that tunnel vision you'd have. You'd be thinking, I have this cool ISO I'm going to use on this target. Instead, you just fresh mind shows up. I'm going to do what I know, my bread and butter, and just get out in one go. And that works pretty well for a lot of players.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm nervous for Buff. I'm hopeful for Danny. I'm anxious. I hope he doesn't make any mistakes, and just can't wait to see how this all shakes out. Looking at our map performance here, Danny's been here a total of 6 times with 5 wins and 1 loss. Buff, on the other hand, has been here just twice with 1 win and 1 loss, and the map record was set by Fanium in this very tournament, 2 minutes and 5 seconds. So that gives you an idea of just how fast our players could potentially be done and leaving Dubai behind them. Could be over as quickly as 2 minutes. Maybe not, though. Possibly not.
Yeah, for sure. Some tough spins in this. We could see some Assassin, which can add about a minute to the spin. Could see some annoying disguises, famous chef, or some annoying items down in the kitchen, but nonetheless.
Sometimes the drowning kills can be a little bit trolly as well.
Exactly.
So, or loadout restrictive. There's ways that spins can be kind of complicated or just require very specific knowledge of how to adapt to loadout demand and using items that are on the map. Silenced weapons are abound. But anyhow, our spin is going to be here, and Observer, I would like for you to tell us what we have for Dubai. Go ahead.
I would absolutely love to. Okay, so we will have for Dubai spin, Carl Ingram injected poison in the skydiving suit, and Marcus Divison fiberwire event staff. So we got a double live kill and 1 hostile disguise straight out the gate. So this is a very nice spin.
Yeah, so this is interesting. So getting that live kill on Carl, the event staff for Marcus, so 2 live kills actually. Fiberwire for Marcus, injected poison for Carl. This may present some challenges here. So I think we're probably going to see event staff, right?
Yeah, I think so too, because if you do that suit start, you're going to be triggering Carl and he'll be gone in about a minute. So you want to avoid doing that. So event staff is good. And probably some Seeker shenanigans we're going to see onto Carl to keep him downstairs.
Quite possibly, yeah. Okay, so they're both going for the event staff. I think they both grabbed the banana, definitely. Danny did. Buff's working his way up through the stairs, grabbed a smuggle from the laundry room there, I think.
Yeah, and I'm actually excited. Are we going to see the quick Marcus ISO? I think
my
we
God.
are.
We are from Buff for sure. I hope this works. I know this could be a bit inconsistent, I think.
Wow, this is very nice to see from both players. Is Danny not actually going for it? He's actually opting for the slower approach.
Oh my God, Buff gets it. Nice. Beautifully
Beautiful.
done. Fast Marcus. And this is relatively new. Players were not doing this in the last roulette tournament, so this was a recently discovered strat from Marcus.
Yeah, I want to say, I'm not sure fully you found it. I want to say Mika is one of the first people I saw showcase this, but I'm sure there's even some earlier routes if not. But yeah, this is really tense.
I'd believe it. Mika's a pretty smart dude. Okay, so Buff gets that guard turned around, pacified, and switches into that security. He's going to hop into that cupboard real quick there just to check for ample storage. Danny gets that fiber wire kill on Marcus, now gets it much slower than Buff did. Buff now needs to... What's he doing? He took care of the evidence?
Yeah, well, he picked up a loud pistol there. I'm not quite sure why he actually grabbed that. Maybe he's planning on some sort of lockdown. Oh, he wants to use it to panic everybody when he gets the skydiving suit. So that's actually really good tactical grab from Buff.
And Danny actually just does a body shot onto an NPC over there and switches into the skydiving suit to make it easier to get past. So that works out. Buff also... Okay, both players are really evenly matched right now. Danny is ahead by a few seconds in game. And it's going to kind of... Just hopefully they can get up there to Carl without anything going wrong.
Yeah, now getting him is going to be a bit iffy because, if I'm not mistaken, they did trigger him now, but if they can get up to him quickly, it should be okay. The difference is Danny has the door open, whereas I don't think Buff Guy has something to open that door with, so he has to go up the ladder.
Oh, man. Yep. Got a plan for that routing. And he's just turning that technician around, or the tech crew around. And Danny's looking pretty good here. He's going to be moving in to get that kill. Don't get GRB'd. Okay, he gets target locked down. There's a guard at the end of the elevator, has turned and seen. He has his green gun still.
My.
The kill goes off. He distracts him with a wall shot by the elevator. And he gets out. Oh,
this is nerve-wracking. Buff Guys could still get a photo finish if he can speed it up, this kill. And he does. You can see it finished.
Oh, come on, Buff. Come on, get the prompt. Yes, oh my God. He got so close to getting ripped right there. That whoosh was almost full. Oh my God. Crazy.
This is a reflection of Dartmoor, essentially. Danny barely getting out a little bit earlier and Buff Guy scraping for that exit. So I think it's another photo finish for sure. Maybe about...
For sure.
5-6 seconds, maybe?
You know, Buff, I think... It's so hard to say. I honestly feel like I can't definitively predict who is on the better half. You know, who's on the favored outcome of this photo finish call. I know Buff's load times are generous. Too generous. They're like 15 seconds, 16 seconds, and that is about the time difference.
Yeah, 5 seconds is the actual number coming in as well. And another note is some people pointing out Buff actually got into the spin first, but I couldn't tell you how long they spent planning rather than loading time. So it really does come down to Yanini.
Danny did spend, and Chad is pointing out that Danny did spend a bit more time planning his loadout. Buff was kind of in straight away, so there are a number of factors here that, you know, are making it hard to sort of assess clearly who has the advantage. But our match admin, Yanini, is calculating the time difference. This is called a photo finish calculation, where basically load times are removed from the amount of time that elapses from the time a spin is sent to the players to the time that they hit done. So load times are removed from that time calculation, and whoever has less time wins, and it's going to be Buff.
Oh my God.
What's the margin? By how many seconds?
I need to check. It was... Wait, Buff Guy had 15 seconds of load, so 10 seconds more than Danny, so he won it by 5 because Danny had the 5 going in to that photo finish.
Yeah.
So wow.
Just a few seconds away from being declared a draw. If he were 3 seconds, if Danny had finished 3 seconds slower, it would have been a draw.
Yeah, wow, that's crazy. That honestly, madness. So similar to Dartmoor as well.
Yeah.
clenching it with his loading time. Not to say, of course, Buffguy did spend less time in game, even though he spent more time loading, which means he did have as much time as Danny to do the spin. So yeah, well deserved win there for Buffguy and the bye. What a spin we had there.
Yeah, I'll say. I imagine chat should be prepared for many of these map spins probably to end in a photo finish calculation, because these guys are just both playing on the same level here, and just to see the back and forth, and Buff has taken both of his. He won. It's just crazy to me that he won on Dartmoor and Dubai. Two maps that he's just very vocal about not enjoying a whole lot as far as roulette's concerned, and he's beating a world champion, on these maps. So, just really, really impressive stuff to see from Buff here. And obviously,
Yeah.
Danny is playing impeccably as usual. This is par for the course for Danny. Just a couple things maybe he could be optimizing a bit more, but that's just Hitman for you. That's just the name of the game.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. They're both playing so similar to each other that they're definitely both worthy of a finalist spot right now, because they're really showcasing it. 2 photo finishes in the first 3 maps. Just goes to show how close this is. And we're moving on to probably one of our, you could say, longest maps so far. Ambrose can be a bit of a hefty one, and definitely the longest record from the first 3 maps we had before this. So could see a couple of rips here, because it's not any speedy Sasso strats you can always do in this.
And the other thing about Ambrose, I think, that has sort of begun to emerge as time has gone on is that there really isn't one clear best strat or isolation. I mean, that could be said for any map, but for a lot of maps, we tend to see the same things. The laptop for Robert Knox, for instance, or the sugar for Sierra. But I feel like on a map like Ambrose, we don't tend to see the same things all the time. It really just depends on the nature of the kill. There's different strengths and weaknesses with each kind of area where you can isolate. For instance, what Danny's doing here in this area, can be a bit of a dicey area to get that null isolation. If you aren't super practiced with it, you can also get him in the bathroom. I know there's some different timing for Akka. You can get her when she's from the metalworker start. You can get her when she's walking towards the porter potty, up in the pirate compound. So there's just a lot. There's many things to kind of manage, I feel like, on a map like Ambrose. Not to mention all of the unique lethal items that could potentially appear in a spin.
Yeah, I just about to say, the one condition I always love to see how players approach it is Akka electrocution and null falling object. 2 of them can really give you a bit of a run for your money, because we've seen time and time again the boat being a bit of a annoying thing for players, but you can use that little lantern to hit null instead. Then for Akka electrocution, there's a bit of a long setup, you could say, for a couple of players if you want to get her up in that prison cell. So I'd love to see a nice, interesting spin here where any start could be viable. Like you just said, there is a lot of approaches to this map.
Absolutely. And loud firearm is another one.
Yeah.
That can be complicated because you don't always get targets behind 2 closed doors. So then it's just a matter of leaving their body out in the open in a bush somewhere, but taking the shot from somewhere else. And plus, being that it's Hitman and Roulette, we might see something we haven't seen before. We might see some really cool improv, like we saw from Danny at the end of that Dubai, where he had to, he accidentally had Carl screaming, and so he used a bullet distraction to stop the guard from seeing the bodies. Moments like that are really the highlight, the best highlights of Roulette, in my opinion. So hopefully we get some more of that too. If not on this map, then at least throughout the rest of the matches.
Yeah, I agree. I love seeing those moments of it's not like routine, it's skill coming out to save the run. That just makes the clips. That's the highlights of everything for this, when the player comes out from behind the strategies. But yeah, we're only about a couple seconds away. If you want to take this one then, Barb, for our Ambrose spin.
I would love to, Observer. So we have Noel Crest eliminated with a hobby knife disguised as the hippie, and Akka eliminated with a falling object disguised as metalworker.
Ooh, now Akka falling object, that's another interesting one. There's of course those sandbags at the top of the tower. There is technically a little lantern for her as well, but we don't really see players use that as much. But that's definitely the spicy spin of this. But hippie Noel as well. You're gonna have to get him later than you usually would unless you ISO him quickly.
Yeah, Hippie Noel, I feel like, is definitely the more straightforward thing here. I'm not a very practiced Ambrose player, so I would be trying to figure out falling object Akka on the fly.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be learning something from our players here. But Danny's going for this metal worker start, gives him access to fast isolation on Akka.
Yeah, this is definitely a good approach for this. You want to get her in the compound because once she leaves, it's very tough to get a falling object go.
Okay, so he gets that peekaboo, and that's going to pull her right over to the door. Oh, he's trying to take out these cameras, but he's not going to be able to get a shot on them. Meanwhile, Buff is going for... What start did he start at? Was that Social Hub start?
Yeah, I would assume so. That's definitely good. Both of these approaches have their benefits to the target that they're next to because Buff will have Noel closer, whereas Danny's going to have to get Noel when he's all the way over by the boat area. So it's going to be tougher to get an isolation out there. And he has to grab a hobby knife if he hasn't brought it with him.
That is a very good point. So Buff has Noel sick, presumably, and isolating himself in the bathroom there. He didn't grab the durian, interestingly, at this point at least. And Danny has Akka isolated just outside that little prisoner room, or is it in the prisoner room, or it's outside? So each player has one target isolated now, and they are working on getting the second.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the opposite targets getting eyesight for both players. The one thing I would be a little bit scared about is one, Danny can't get this explosive out of this crate. Does get it eventually. But this falling object can be a little bit janky. It looks a bit Looney Tunes the way it falls because it does a bit of a weird arc. So hopefully this is a good placement from Danny if he knows exactly where
Is
to
it
push.
like the speakers and the bags of bricks that kind of like, jump forward like 5 feet and then fall down?
Yeah, like a weird ellipse as they fall, or a little squiggly line. Looks pretty good from Danny though. But it is tough to shoot this from below if you can get a good line of sight in it.
And he's actually going to opt to climb up there or no, maybe not.
Yeah,
he is going up the tower.
Yeah, because if you do a triple shot by mistake, that guard comes down, so it's really scary to shoot, especially with an SMG.
That is a very good point. If you only have an SMG, you can't get it with just one non-suspicious shot. So he's going to go up here and actually opt to knock him out, leave nothing to chance, minimize the risks, and kick the bag of bricks for that personal touch. And he does get the kill. Yeah,
very nice. I was just about to say, Akka was just passing the location where she goes by a lantern, which would have been a really nice falling object. But I think he has to wait until she goes all the way back to the compound now, which is a bit of waiting. But he can knock out all those pirates and do the prep work that we just saw Danny doing.
All right, Danny does manage to take care of the cameras there that time and is now heading off for the hippie and will be trying to then isolate Noel. He also hasn't thrown an explosive yet for the bonus objective.
Yeah.
Buff did do the bonus objective being that satellite control terminal.
Yeah, so either Danny can wait for that, like I like to call it the bus station, the bus stop, because those pirates will only pick up that up at certain times. You have to throw in a certain location, or he'll go into the cave and just skip the whole waiting process of it. But still a bit of a trek though, you got to go all the way into the cave. So we'll have to see how it looks for Danny with the timing on the bomb, because he won't know how long it'll take to get there.
So Danny's getting both of these hippie gentlemen pacified here, and all you have to do is drag him behind the little alchemy altar, and that militia guard won't see their bodies as long as they're tucked tightly behind that little alchemy station. So Danny is suited up as the hippie and will now be working on Noel. Buff, on the other hand, what's he doing? He's by a shipping container? Is this in the pirate compound?
Yeah, he's clearing out those two pirates beneath, like we saw Danny doing. It is a bit of a time wait now for him, for Akka to come back, who has to drink in the bar and then she'll come back. But she will go into that lovely prisoner room as well.
He'll be getting the same falling object then, most likely, with that bag of bricks. And Danny, in the food storage room here, probably to pick himself up that durian. Yep, free emetic, very powerful item.
Yeah, very nice item to have in this map, especially for Noel, who's coming back. And pretty good timing, actually, to be fair, for Danny. Did time that well for Noel to come back, because this is one of the safest isolations, you could say, that fire barrel.
So that will send him... He dropped an emetic. Or was that for just his guards, I wonder?
I think it was just for Noel, if I'm not mistaken. If he did catch a guard, that would be good, because... Is he going to go to this bathroom? I would have assumed he was going to go to the fire barrel, but maybe this is location number 1.
I think he would prioritize the bathroom here, but I mean, we're about to find out. If he does go for the fire barrel...
it's tough to knock out these guards without a trank if they stand on top of each other, so this could be sketchy for Danny. Yeah, and there's some eyeballs who can kind of end up back here as well. So he's going to be using a thrown distraction to kind of split them up a little bit, but I still am a bit nervous about the position that Danny's in here. I don't like this. Oh, and that's bad for Danny. The guard consumed his time to stay here, so he has to keep him in. Because if they leave, they're going to come back eventually. And he still hasn't done bomb.
And Buff gets the shot on the falling object with
Ooh.
one pistol shot. Nicely done from a decent distance there. Gets the kill on Aka. Now just needs Noel.
Oh, and Danny is scraping this guard back as much as he can. It's such an annoying guard to deal with. But yeah, Buff guy really catching up now. Just has to get the no kill, which he has isolated and the bomb delivered. But Danny doesn't, so it's really hard to say who's in the lead here right now.
What did this guard see? Is he looking at a weapon? Okay, Danny's going for the pacification. He's got the hobby knife. He gets the kill. Both targets down, switches into militia security or militia soldier, and now needs to get this final objective. So both players have 2 of 3 things complete. Buff needs to get this hippie disguise and get back to Noel. I assume he has a hobby knife already?
I would hope so, yeah. If not, I'm not actually sure what the hobby knife is in this. I think it's by the metalworkers, but regardless, I think Danny has to deliver the bomb. He has to wait, or he could go all the way in because he is in the soldier disguise, so we might actually see a boat exit here from Danny because he is allowed in here.
But it's still illegal to pick up the keys, is it not? Even if you are a militia soldier? So if he is going to try and... there might be an easy way he's got for... Oh, no, he's just going to toss the explosive in there and let them deliver it, I guess.
Oh, this could still be scary for Danny because he doesn't know when the bomb arrives, so he just has to do it based on his own discretion.
And and this is some time where he just has to sit, and Buff could potentially catch up. Look at him there, he's on the move. He's, as the hippie, he's heading towards Noel. I assume he's got the hobby knife, so this is extremely close.
Yeah, I actually think this is going to be another photo finish, unless we see a rip. Because Danny has to wait at least another 20-30 seconds, in my opinion, to be even safe. Because that guard has to place it, then another 5 seconds to walk away almost. So, bit of a wait for him. And it's going to be a scary wait for both players now.
He's going to be pressing that... He's going to be saying a prayer before he presses that detonator, I'll tell you that.
Oh, I actually have no clue what this could be. Anything left now for Buff?
There's a kill for Buff. He just needs to GTFO out of here. And here goes Danny getting the detonator. Is he ready to press it yet? He's not quite ready. What is Buff doing? Oh, Buff has a guy. No! Buff had the chef. The chef came out and...
Oh my god.
No. What did
Buff
he hear?
literally looked every single direction. The frontal KO on Noel. Yeah.
Was it the KO or was it the thrown kill? Because he threw the hobby knife at
I
Noel.
think it hit his face, which made the frontal KO sound. And that's a finish from Danny regardless.
God.
Oh.
Rip. That is such a painful rip for Buff. He would have had it. I feel like he would have had it.
He looked every single direction as well. If you look back, he spent about 10 seconds looking around, agonizing.
He saw the chef walking to investigate, and he just realized he couldn't do anything. He couldn't get there in time to shoot, to drop an item, and stop him from investigating. And you can see clearly Buff is a bit unhappy about getting that Noel kill discovered at the last second.
Wow.
But what a great 2 matches, and it's time for us to rotate out now, I believe. Observer, and let Mando and Nezuko-chan should be here or here soon to commentate on the next match. So great fun, and look forward to seeing how things shake out here. We'll be watching and hopefully back for more action for maps 9 and 10.
Yeah, maybe.
We will see.
Maybe.
But first, for map 5 and 6, we will have Mando and Nezuko-chan joining up.
Yes, thank you. Have fun, guys.
Yeah, thanks. They can come to the channel.
Are you fucking serious, gang? You gonna fucking do me again like that? Stop fucking...
And Buff, as you guys can hear, is not happy. Very understandable, of course, but what a game so far. We're just waiting for Nezuko and Mando to...
Hello, everyone.
To switch, and there we have him. There we have Mando and Nezuko. Welcome in, guys. Have fun with map 5
just
and 6.
had the microphone test. Cheers, Froggy.
Yep.
Oh, yes. 2.5 minutes we have, Nezuko, to chat Paris. Well, and the previous map so far. Have you been watching along with these?
Yeah, I have since beginning from Dartmoor, and it's so far been back and forwards. So far making this tie with a 4-4, it's interesting, and now we're moving on to Paris. So
yeah, Traded blows the whole way. They've not taken a single one of their own map picks. Both players taking their opposition's map choice. It's it's getting pretty tense right now.
Yes, it is. So Paris now. Danny shows a map pick, and it should be nice and simple. A postable formation again on this map is quite simple enough. Depends what stone spins it can be. What makes it interesting enough is a vampire magician or a Balrax or saber. Either way, like that makes it interesting enough to spin. But so far,
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of disguises as well. I mean, vampire magician, shake, anything that just takes players off of a given path can definitely throw people for a loop.
Yeah.
And I mean, I instantly want to see at least one live kill. I mean, just seeing the Dubai with the double live kill, it was.
That was quite good.
Yeah, I mean, personally, that's just what I like to see. I guess it's one of my favorites. So I'm hoping we get an awkward disguise and a live kill or something like that, just so we can see some maybe strats we don't get to see all that often.
Yeah. So just about a minute. The performances from these two look very good. Danny been here 10 times, Buff been here 12 times. Looking pretty good even for both of these players.
Yeah, I was going to say both the same amount of wins. Danny with the tie on Paris, which I'm guessing must have been a photo finish tie. It doesn't seem likely that a map went 47 minutes on Paris, so I'm guessing he's had a tie there. But yeah, the similar amount of times being here, similar amount of wins. Well, the same amount of wins, but similar win percentage, I guess. Yeah, this should make for a good match. I'm looking forward to this one. And yeah, I mean, given the standards we've seen so far, there's been very few rips so far. I can only think of maybe like two. I know Danny had the restart, which cost him Dartmoor. Buff obviously just had that restart that, may not have made too much of a difference, but it's prevented the Ambrose photo finish. So yeah, these guys have been on fire so far. So do you want to take this first spin for us, Nezuko?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so we have Victor Novikov, a barbed kill as the stylist, and Dartmoor goes a screwdriver as the ICA bodyguard. So we do have a live one, nice.
Yeah, I was going to say I got my wish, and it is in a reasonably awkward disguise, I suppose, because it's not the easiest to maneuver for a live kill. I'm guessing we'll probably see that kill done at the fireworks, if I were to take a guess.
Yeah, probably. Well, you can't. It's gonna be a little tricky because but Danny's gonna go for it now.
Yeah, Danny and nice and quick.
You could maybe delay with the lockdown because he does go in his own room for a little lockdown. He does, but doesn't do that. Well, Buff is currently the science stylist, so be interested in both different strats already.
Yeah, and Danny's about to grab a screwdriver. There's one right here. There's actually two, I think. There's one right around the corner as well. He's going to go for the free stylist. He just wants to get this first kill out of the way, which is understandable because the Dahlia kill you can just get while she's up on the balcony up there. The bodyguard obviously already up there. Screwdriver already in his hand now. So yeah, this could be very quick from Danny here.
But no, he's going. I think he's going to get the kill first. But then Victor Novikov is going to be over here, so this could be interesting, but you can probably get the kill from here, to be honest.
Yeah, I think Victor should wait down there for a couple of minutes, so he should have more than enough time to get this sorted. It's as long as Sophus doesn't come out, which normally takes a few minutes, so it seems very unlikely for that to happen. But yeah, Danny's doing very well here. As soon as he can get this door shut.
Please shut. There we go. And again, that's glass through, so see-through, so it's all good. Oh, for a second, sorry.
Yeah,
but it's all good.
Yeah, Buff has just seeked Victor as well, so he's going to go for a bathroom fiber wire kill. That is kill number one done already from Danny, and he just has to slide down the pipe. We can see on his mini-map there, Victor just getting into position right now. So all he's going to have to do is knock out Victor's guard, who I always forget the name.
Yeah, same as well.
I'm sure someone in chat will tell us, but... Oh no, Victor's guard, because of how quick the fireworks went off, actually, his guard shouldn't be anywhere near.
I think he's going to be safe and just let him blow over here. But Darzen gets a guard requested. I think...
Yeah, I was going to say he's going to VIP and force that one. That might cost Danny, actually.
Oh, and Buff rips to knocking up Victor Novikov.
Yeah, GRB, infamous GRB in a bloody RRWC final. That is going to be brutal.
And oh no, Danny's
Oh
missing the
no,
opportunity.
Danny.
It's
And
just going wrong. It's gonna
Yeah,
investigate this
that
time.
as you said, yeah, that's far enough away from that guard. Victor's far enough away from the guard. He got him to enforce. Very good recovery from
No.
Danny here. Just needs to move that body. I know he's going to leave it there. Exit, obviously, helicopter right there. It's going to be a quick sprint to the exit, and he should be good. Just needs to be careful of Helmut.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, all good. So
Yeah.
that was
Awesome
close
stuff
for
from
Danny,
Danny.
that was.
Yeah, and finally we see someone take their own map pick as well. That is the first time in this this grand final that someone's going to take their own map. And boy, yeah, what a way to do it. 2.5 minutes pretty much. Very little planning time from Danny, so awesome RTA as well. And yeah, really strong stuff.
Nice performance there, was from Danny. Just nearly missed the opportunity. Just lucky going before he was about to exit. Because if he was another guy, there would have been another missed opportunity, and it would have made it like 60 times harder. But
yeah, and importantly for Buff now, so this is the first time Buff is behind in this grand final, but he is going into his own map pick now. So Santa Fortuna, we know he likes the big maps.
yeah.
So yeah, this is normally what people would probably say is maybe Buff's home turf. He does like the big maps, so I'm sure he's going into this with some confidence.
And we have Fortuna next for a sick map, so I'm quite interested to see what's going to be happening. Danny does have the map record on this, so it looks good for him so far on this, and his performance for both of them as well. 8 wins, and Buff with 11 wins. They're both looking good with them, their performances.
Yeah, Buff with a bit more experience here. He's been here a fair 11 times. He's been here an extra 3 times on Danny, but yeah, has 11 wins, the 1 tie, some infamous memories, you could say, Buff on this map as well. But we're not going to go there. This is a new day for Buff. There's going to be no shenanigans. I'm hoping he can bring this one home because I'll be honest, dude, I want to see as many maps as we can physically see.
Yeah, we want to make this a tight game. Yeah, nice and intense for it.
Yeah, Danny practicing the Red Fox strat there. Very
yes.
Well, it's proving a very useful strat on this map. Amongst others, there's a few very similar little lockdown strats and stuff on this area of the map for Rico. So interested to see what kind of spin we get here again. I mean, I do like any kind of live or loud kills, but yeah, I think I just want to see something unconventional.
Hopefully something like loud for Jorge Franco will be quite interesting to see, or a falling object for Andrea. Be quite interesting. It's a little bit challenging. One of them, one of them would be annoying. Would be a consumed porter for A Franco because it's a little bit annoying to go get that. And some people do mess up the cocaine bust up. They do by accidentally gluing it, and then once you glue it, you can't poison it. You can't. So that pretty much makes you automatically rip. So hopefully they don't have that problem. If not, but
Yeah, I mean, consumed poison on this map, not too bad, because there's plenty of consumed poison for free on the map. I suppose, yeah, the only thing that can go wrong, as you say, is if you accidentally, forget to put the poison in first and then and do the glue first. That is problematic, but not too bad other than that. Buff just must be having a little breather as well. He's lost the face cam for a moment. Might just be having some time to collect his thoughts going into Santa Fortuna. This could be a long one. You never know.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. Like He's back.
Yeah. It's more of it's just pretty much less action. A lot of people do say it's a less action map, and it's more just a roam map. It is. And I do agree with that. Because they're all separate apart of their own areas. It can be annoying. It can be. But at the same time, it does make it a little bit challenging.
Yeah, and Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, Santa Fortuna is far from my favourite map in the world. What is this we're seeing from Danny here? Was this intentional?
Wow.
This I don't even know what he's practiced here, but
That's quite cool.
if that was intentional, that was kind of cool. But yeah, I kind of hope we get to see, I don't know, maybe a live Andrea kill
Yeah.
with like a disguise from the other end of the map or something like that. Just so it's a bit depending on timing, perhaps, you know, trying to optimize and get some good timing. That will really show off the knowledge these guys have on these maps.
Yeah, like a drug lab worker, inject poison for injure.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, something to make these guys work for it. Like I said, really show off their knowledge. Because I mean, you know, some of you guys, you know all the timings on these maps, and it blows my mind. I don't have that ability just yet.
So 20 seconds now. I'm actually quite intrigued to see. Maybe then it could get a new map record. Will be quite intense to see. I know, quite insane, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, setting a map record in a grand final, that would be a way to. I mean, we already know how good Danny is. We can see he's already won the RRWC21 and RR9. So, but we have our spin. So we have Rico Delgado, silent assault rifle as the shaman. We have Jorge Franco, sacrificial knife as the band member, and we have Andrea Martinez Fall as the street soldier.
Okay.
So the Andrea kill isn't too bad there, right? I mean, disguise in her little compound, the Fall kill right there as well.
Probably get the shaman first and then make our way to Andrea. Would be quite a nice idea.
Yeah, plenty of choices here.
And looks like Danny is not. He's going for the Red Fox strat.
Yeah, I think I'm not surprised we're going to see some Red Fox strat here. Just given the Rico kill and the Andrea kill, he'd be able to get the Rico isolation done and the Andrea kill pretty quick. Sacrificial knife obviously is on the map, but you're going to want to start with it.
Yeah, it's a long way to get it.
It's definitely not viable.
As well, Buff has a disadvantage on console since it is a bit harder to do a Red Fox shot, but he has found a way to do it. It's a good thing. Hope he does get it.
Yeah, Danny looks like he's going to get this done first time.
There we go, gets the seek shot and he can just make his way out.
Yeah, so Buff, what does Buff do here? So he shoots slightly earlier, does he? To get Rico moving somewhere else instead of to the car by the look of it.
Okay. And then just
He starts the peekaboo a bit earlier. Yeah, it's good. A good interpretation from Buff there. I'm guessing this is the strat he's found himself, or amongst getting some help with fellow community members. But yeah, it's a good way to make that work with console, especially given the difficulties you can have with aiming and such. I'm very impressed with how Buff has managed to get that done.
Oh no, he's got so many bushes. But Danny gets the knockout, so he's going up that worst. She's all good.
Yeah, and so the only difference is Buff has yellow guns because he didn't take the cams out because it's just time wasted, I guess. But I mean, he'll be able to take those out in Andrea's compound.
Yeah. There you go.
Speaking of which, Danny rampaging over to the compound right now. I think he is going to get this kill done whilst he's over here.
We'll be down in this area. We'll have problems, but you can take them out here. We'll make sure you take care of them. That's a bullet shot. We'll play it a little bit safe. And there we go.
Nearly missed the lock on, but got that. Just needs his street soldier, and yeah, you can just dump Andrea straight out that window, and he'll have this kill done in the next 30 seconds or so.
We'll meanwhile take the cams out. Buff on his way to Andrea's place. Will cause a bullet impact, but shouldn't be anything concerning. So he doesn't have anything to knock out, so he will need to just grab that shovel and just knock him out. There we go.
Yeah, but Buff really not too far behind here, honestly.
Yeah. looking good. He needs to stand up behind the window, and that's Andrea gone. And same for Bath, except he would need a street soldier.
Yeah, I mean, well, given, yeah, I mean, they're really, really, like, it's literally like just watching Buff play with like a 30-second delay right now. He's going to want to take the cams out, but he looks like he wants the kill first. Or maybe not. No, he's going to go and do that now.
It was not his female, get the keys so he can get inside.
Yeah, and I think that's probably just to get the disguise moving, I suppose, right? He's probably going to swap that out for the... Oh no, of course, that's for the Jorge, yeah. We might be seeing him head all the way over there, actually. Get that killed on before coming back to Rico.
Maybe get the one of the other mansion guards, or Rico's guards, could change into, at least have that disguise next to him once you've killed him. Is he going to go for that?
So they...
Snash. Yeah, he's going for it.
Yeah, the race is on now.
So Buff a little bit, like I would say, like 30-40 seconds behind, with the with a little bit of the
Oh, Buff, no! Oh, Buff, he went for the... he didn't bring it... Where, that's the difference. We saw Danny bring that lady around the corner to knock her out and put her in the bin. Oh, and Buff, he just tried to throw KO, and it has not paid off for him there, unfortunately. So he is ripping like 4 minutes into his run, and that could prove costly.
Yeah. And Danny is on the way to the shaman.
Yeah, he has dumped the... He dumped the band member disguise on the bridge. So he's going to be able to get the Rico kill done, and then he can swap back into his band member and head over to get Jorge, hopefully. There's the helicopter exit right there. Looking very good for Danny right now.
Be a little wait patiently to get this guy, so once it's done his compensation, you can get him distracted. And it will. Just make sure we had this problem with another player who, if you nudge, dragging the bodies, I think touching the NPC or dragging the body is not a good idea. Is he not going to hide that body? No, he's not. Taking a gamble there, but it should be all good anyway.
I think it should be far enough away from those two the street soldiers up on the cliff for that not to be an issue. Very brave leaving those bodies there in a grand final, though. I would not be able to do that myself. I think I'd have to hide every single body just to play extra safe, but that would probably cost me in a game against this guy. And he is going to take out Rico Delgado in just a moment's time. And then, the race is on for Danny, the final target. And if he can get that off without a hitch, he's going to be heading to his own map choice with map point, or match point even.
Yeah. So, just making his way now to Ori Franco. I believe he's coming in this little shack shed. I think he is. I think so. And watch out to people. He just by here, just watch out the other two guys, but he should be past them, all good. And currently we can see he's now pretty much in their little drug factory, I want to call it.
Yeah, and is this? I think this is really pretty good timing for Danny. I think as long as he catches Jorge. Oh no, is it bad? No, it's bad timing. So he's exiting the. He's going to go to the bad bathroom here.
He's going to have to be patient.
He doesn't have the spare dart to use.
He could probably
is he gonna? He might just change strategy. He could go for the drug shed thing with the flower.
Good. Or maybe wait for a bit. Unless he's going to try and get a disguise or wait until at least after get the kill, then he may just want to change. Buff on the other hand, gonna get Andrea knocked out.
Yeah, and he is gonna start working on emptying the shed here. So is he gonna go for the drug shed, Danny here? If he destroys that flower sample, we'll bring Jorge straight over there. Would give him another opportunity to get that kill done.
Looks like he is.
Yeah, I think he's literally going to empty it one by one. I mean, Jorge is literally right next to him as well on the minimap there. You can see he's literally about to enter the shed by the look of it anyway, or at least walk past it.
Gonna knock him out and then grab. I think there's one more he needs to get as well. Yeah, it's one more.
Yeah, but now that Jorge's in there, I don't. Will one of the guards
No.
respond, or is it? No, it is the right drug lab worker. That's good stuff.
Okay. And break the body. Eventually will come anyway, so by the time he does this lowering, he'll be out the shed, he'll be out of there. And you could just take the super shot if he wants to.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I was gonna say he could go back to the Seeker at that point, or.
Oh.
Oh,
But
yeah, that was
I
an
know
interesting one. But I think he may go back to the Seeker now. But I mean, he could just go and destroy the flower sample as well. Both would work. But I think at this point, probably easier to do the Seeker.
And I think after doing that, he just realised that he just went out. And Buff this time will avoid that lady. And he's got his Bam Bam in disguise. But Danny looking pretty good so far with this Jorge second. You just need to throw that sacrificial knife, and that should be it. Just make sure that walk over there. May want to distract him, maybe, or kill him. Not kill him, but knock him out and take his disguise. Don't want to kill him. And
Yeah, I think he's gonna. I think he might just do that afterwards. I think he doesn't want to miss getting this Jorge killed nice and quick. Because if he gets it nice and quick, those guards will walk off and ignore Jorge's dead body.
We'll do a bit of distraction. We'll just to be safe. Should be all good. Nothing should go
Yeah, and
wrong,
he's just going to run straight there, and that is
8-4.
another excellent performance from Danny there. He will be on match point going into his own map pick, which I'm trying to remember what map we actually have after this. I want to say Hokkaido, which is Danny's choice.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, Hokkaido indeed.
And then afterwards, Bessie ends up with Buff's pick. So interestingly enough, already.
Yeah, and I just want to say, absolutely amazing performance from both of these guys. I mean, Buff was right up there with Danny on that map up until that one rip. And on the Paris we saw as well, again, they were super, super close for a while. Well, could have been super close, I guess, but Danny was just a beast of his own. But now it's time, I believe anyway, for us to hand the reign of power back over to Fro and Joker J.
Yes.
Assuming you're both there, boys.
Thank you guys very much for the cast. What a match so far.
Oh yeah, it's been fantastic. Yes, it's currently 8-4 to Danny now, but I mean, it's not reflective of the scoreline, is it really? Buff was unlucky with his rips there, but Danny again, depending how he expects, and now he's on what match point to potentially go back to back in terms of RWC championships, which would be an amazing feat for him.
Yeah, I mean, it was so close after the first 4 maps, and no one was managing to win their own map pick. And then that all changed with map 5. Yeah, these last 2 matches really made a difference in the score. It was all tight before that. And maybe a little tilting going on by Buff after some moments there, Joker. What do you make of it?
How different this game could have been if he had, what was it? He spent 10 seconds trying to find if anyone had heard it, and he just missed the person that had heard it. And I think after that moment, it's just destroyed his mental. We saw with his reaction to it, he lost immediately afterwards. Of course, Danny finished. If that hadn't happened, if he just dropped something for him, if he realised.
Yeah, I mean, and Buff also had that GRB on Victor, of course, on Paris, which otherwise it probably would have been a photo finish as well. Not saying Buff would have won it, but it could have been close as well. So yeah, just a few moments that did seem to have an impact on Buff here. We could tell by his comms over on the shoutcast, of course.
Mm-hmm.
He was not happy with those last 2 maps, but regardless, he's been playing so well. And on the other end, Dani, after that rip in Dartmoor, he's pretty much been flying. Of course, did lose the 3rd map, but he didn't make any mistakes. So yeah, very high level final so far, wouldn't you say?
It really is living up to the grand final. And yeah, even if like this is the last map and Danny does win it, I think Buff will be very pleased to come second in the World Championships. Maybe not initially, of course, he'd rather win, but I mean, it's been fantastic for him. Nevertheless, but I mean, Hokkaido, we can't count that just yet. You know, Hokkaido is this map and whatever coming up next, and yeah, Buff had some good performances on Hokkaido recently. You know, he did beat Timecube on it in his most recent game. Yes, he lost to it in round 1 to Blunts, but then he beat Kinetta on it and all that. But we have to look back to last RWC final. Danny did beat Kinetta on Hokkaido, so he knows what it's like playing Hokkaido in the grand final of the RRWC Championship
I
setting.
mean, Joker, we have seen some amazing comebacks from Buff Guy in this very tournament already. So if anyone can pull it off, it would be in. But yeah, this is a great position for Danny. Of course, he has 3 match points basically. He just needs to win one more map in the upcoming 3 maps, and he will prolong his title. So looking very promising. The pressure is all on Buff, but. Like I said, it's not the first time that he has to come back this tournament.
No, and again, you really can't count him out just yet. Like we've seen him beat Kinetta 6-4. Yes, Kinetta, he swept him, but again, he's holding his nerve very well. You know, he went 4-0 down against Rune, managed to come back. He went 4-2 down against Yini, managed to come back. He lost the first map to Mika, lost the first map to Punk, and still managed to come back and win them games. So even in this RWC, he's demonstrated that no matter the time and whatever and the situation, he's been able just to come back and win. You know, and again, on a map like Hokkaido, we really can't count out just yet. And what Sapiens is next, and then Colorado. But we definitely can't count out Buff just yet.
Nah, definitely. And also, just in general, momentum is a funny thing here, and also it could switch around at any moment. Like one map, one disastrous rip or the game trolling, you could completely set you off potentially. So it's definitely never over until it's over. But yeah, Hokkaido, beautiful roulette map, of course. One of my personal favorites, to be honest, for roulette. It's just an amazing map. We did see a new map record this tournament as well, set by Mika. 2:39. That's very, very, very quick. There's still some spins out there that could beat it, but it's already pushing it, and you just love to see that. With each tournament, records get broken. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen so many records broken, of course, this tournament, Hokkaido being one of them. And again, it'd be so fitting for like Danny to end it this year with a record, but I know we might be pushing it a bit too far with that statement. But I mean, again, we can never count the players, of course. It is spin dependent. But I mean, half the hour come for the man, and hopefully.
I mean, still, the records for are secondary, right? Like one, you're dependent on the spin, and in the end, it's about actually winning your matches. But will you do the honors here, Joker? Hokkaido.
I'll happily do the honors. We will have Amos Dexter as the pistol for Eric Sodas, and Yuki Yamazaki full as the surgeon. I mean, this is a very interesting spin. This, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, it's a cool spin, definitely. And as with most Hokkaido spins, you could tackle it from 2 angles. Like, what are you gonna start with? You could, of course, if you're not aware of an easy surgeon grab lure, then your safest bet is probably starting as a surgeon. If you don't know how to get him, and just go for the Yuki isolation in Portman's room, I guess, and then go for Dexter, and then back for Sodas. Or you could even go for Dexter first, or like Dani is doing, getting the Yuki isolation here near the gondola. Like, there's a lot of valid approaches on Hokkaido for most spins, which is always awesome.
Yeah, Dani's doing the standard 4. Dexter, of course, with the release of the banana, you can now place a banana at his feet, but I mean, why would you with this spin? You need a bit of a layout for it. No, but Buff does start surgeon here. I think with Sauna, perhaps Sauna's normally is the slow one, but I think with a spin like this and managed disguises, I think you would have to go with the suit star here, because I think grabbing Dexter after he leaves his suite is harder than grabbing a surgeon. Or definitely it's more time effective. It's more time costing. It costs you more time, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, of
Um,
course, if you probably want to bring in a medic then if he's near the restaurant.
Yeah.
But does cost a loadout slot and is relatively slow, of course. But yeah, then again, if you don't know the distraction for the surgeon, then he can be a pain in the ass to get as well. So
I like this from Buff though. He's going to be getting Yuki Seeking into Portman's suite. In the full kill in here, it would be a bit risky, but I mean, look, we don't see it often. I like to see it. We'll get a Seeker onto a other guard as well there. Just have to be mindful of the 2 guards on Yuki's balcony, of course, which can be a bit of an issue here. Danny, in making his way into the garden, as Amos Dexter has Yuki isolated, of course.
yeah, exactly. And Danny is approaching Sodas, is in the Dexter disguise, has a pistol. We will see a wallbang here shortly. Might want to
Yep.
get rid of the guard here first. Does get a little bit of a whoosh. No GRB though. I'll save for Danny. Boxes the guard. Probably will shoot the Adventist here as well. And yeah, both players approaching their first kill. Different kills, but
That's great.
it's very well done. There we have Buff with the
Brilliant.
kill on Yuki, and Danny didn't kill Sodas just yet. He wants to get the search in disguise first, which is some good thinking. Now, like, so Danny is not aware of that other searching grab. This can be a tricky one. He is very aware
Yeah,
of his
has
surroundings, though, and does manage to get it.
Yeah, crouched, very good awareness there from Danny. Another good part as well of that awareness factor there is actually just getting the surgeon before everyone starts moving around after killing Sodas, of course. Getting good awareness here. Buff will just have a device in the box for Dex here. So slower approach, but I mean, he'll get it down. I mean, but Danny, after killing Yuki, he will have a very short run to the exit, and he does seem
True.
Danny's favour at the moment. I think Buff's got a lot more work to do, a lot more running to do here.
Yeah, this is looking
Danny's
good
just got-
for Danny here. Gets the soda skill, changes into the surgeon. All he has to do is make his way to the gondola, dump her there, and yeah, an exit right there. It's,
Yeah, not trespassing as well here. Like, it's gone so well for him here. No camera issues. It's looking very likely to be Danny here, but of course, not over yet. But I think there will be no risk of that frontal
yeah.
kill happening, like we can see with some lethal melees.
And we do have a buff guy getting Dexter disguise. Was a bit struggling with the NPCs trying to come in as well, but look at this lead, and Danny is all but done. Those 2 guards should not hear this fall, this
No.
drop.
They
So
shouldn't
this
hear
is
it.
all
And
clear.
yeah, it's looking to be now the RWC title. Staying in Hungary for the 3rd consecutive year, for the 2nd consecutive year. Danny, exiting Hokkaido, will win Great Rivals World Championships 2022.
Yeah, and honestly, just very well deserved here. I mean, these last three maps all went Danny's way, of course, but he had the better strat, the better execution. It's actually incredible from Danny, our Hungarian. He's absolutely been dominating this year with roulette, and prolongs his World Championship title here. We're of course waiting for the official call from Yanini, who wants to wait it out, which is fair, of course, but
we need that 5-star SA screen. I mean, we do need it.
we kind of do need it, even though we know that he had it. I will pay out the predictions already here.
There it is.
And there it is, 10-4. Yeah, these last 3 maps were all the different things. Weren't going Buff's his way, of course, on Ambrose and on Paris. And yeah, look at the in-game time as well. Like, Danny finished with 4 minutes, Buff almost a minute slower. Just the better approach there, a deserved win on Hokkaido. I would also like to invite Barbecue and Observer back to Shoutcaster Channel 1, if they're hearing this in the chat. We do have Observer, and there's Barb as well. Welcome back, guys. Thoughts on this 7th map, Hokkaido?
It's a little bit bittersweet for me. I was hoping to see a couple more maps. I think we always like the matches that end with like as close of a score as possible. Like an ultimate decider is the best way to end things, I think. I'm kind of heartbroken for Buff. I'm very happy for Danny. Don't get me wrong. He's a great player, and definitely deserved that win. But Buff has a big love for roulette, and I know he was stoked to make it to the finals. And it could have only ended one of two ways. One of these guys was going to be the grand champion. So I'm sad for Buff's loss, but I'm happy for Danny playing extremely well and keeping the bar set as high as it is to be this good at this stage in the game.
Yeah, very well said. Anything to add to that, Observer?
Yeah, I was going to say, those first 4 maps, it was looking like a really good back and forth, but yeah, just Danny was just on his A game, and such unfortunate rips, like some of the other casters were saying, like on Ambrose especially. That one really did hurt. Would have been a really close photo finish, and does affect you mentally, losing map after map. And honestly, so close on a couple of them. Even Paris, like you were saying, for that 1 GRB on Victor could have been another photo finish, and it's just a testament again to how matched these players are. And somebody has to rip, or somebody has to win a map. So it was really close, and definitely GG's to both regardless for their performance, because it was an amazing match to watch.
Absolutely. Joker, your thoughts here?
Yeah, like again, part of me did want Bath to win, of course, being console on that, but Danny's just shown again how great of a player he is. You don't win back-to-back RRWCs, you don't win RR9 off luck, and it just shows how good of a player he really is, I think it's you. It's one of the most, Duckle's one of the most RRs, of course, but Danny has moved up to 3, 2 of them being RRWCs. Hopefully he can just carry this into next year and keep playing like he has been the entirety of this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I did reach out to our champion Danny. He will be available for an interview in just a couple of minutes, 2-3 minutes. He needs to catch his breath and calm down, which is perfectly understandable after such a final. And 7 maps played in just a little over 1 hour. What does that tell you, Observer?
Yeah, the match, altogether, what you say, 2 hours for the whole match? It goes to show that they really gave a run for each other's money. And the practice, to be honest, I think it's worth noting for those first 4 maps. It really goes to show how it went against all expectations, that they took each other's picks, and that the practice doesn't pay off. It's how you feel and the form on the day. And it was such an intense beginning to all of this. And I would have loved to see what one photo finish could have done for Buff, because I can see Buff is a bit mental. He even said the kind of mental game that was affecting him after he lost a couple of maps or a couple of tiny mistakes, and it is hard to brush them off. But the fact they kept each other going for nearly 2 hours is just testament to how good they are, and how close they made it the whole way through, and they really gives a good watch.
All right. I just got a message from our champion that he's ready for an interview. He's already in the public voice channel. Could one of you move him to the locked one? Observer or anyone really?
Observer only has the rights, I think. I can't drag Danny.
Ooh.
I'm not sure I can either.
Oh, days.
Hello.
Oh, hey guys.
Congrats, Danny.
Yo, congratulations. Our reigning
GGs.
champion 2 times back to back. Absolutely unbelievable, Danny. Congratulations. What are your first thoughts?
Thank you. Yeah, I have no words right now. I was so nervous throughout the whole match. And GG to Buff. So he played amazing, no doubt, throughout this whole tourney as well.
Yeah, you did absolutely amazing this tournament. Joker, let me start with you. Do you have some questions for our champion?
Well, first off, congrats, and we saw Buff winning Dartmoor. Of course, we said that, of course, you were the favourite on the small maps. What did anything in your head change after losing that first map, losing Dubai, when you did lose them initial maps, or did you just keep playing how you go play, just kept playing, put that behind you, and moved on from them?
Yeah, I mean, you just have to move on so you can stay in the right mentality. So, of course, I was upset with myself, of course, that I lost Dartmoor, but I just moved on and played after that.
Yeah, exactly. Observer or Barb, whichever want to go first. I'm sure you got questions for our amazing champion here.
I've got a couple actually. So my first one, Danny, is knowing that you were going to be going up against Buff. Just how did that make you feel that you were going to be facing off against him? As your opponent, and did you have to try to plan any specific strategies to deal with Buff? Do you think?
Yeah, I mean, of course, Buff is a very good player on the longer maps. He's incredible on the shorter maps as well. But not gonna lie, I didn't expect him to take both Dartmoor and Dubai. So before the match, when I found out Buff is gonna be my opponent, I kind of went over the maps and tried picking the shortest maps possible, of course, because that's my kind of strength, if you would say.
Sure.
But yeah, it really shocked me that he was so fast on both of them.
I think it shocked all of us, to be honest. And my other question is were there any special strategies that you wanted to make sure you practiced before this tournament, like just new meta strats on any of the maps? And did we get to see any of that in this matchup here today?
Not really. I mean, I practiced like I would for any other match, so I just did what I thought would be the best possible route.
Sure.
And like in Paris, I don't think before this match I don't think I did the downstairs Victor kill ever. So that was fun.
Sure. All right, that was relatively new then. All right, good deal. How about you, Observer? Any questions?
Yeah, I was pretty much going to second what Joker said. That first two maps, would Dartmoor and Dubai would have been kind of like, if you had to tick maps for yourselves, you would have been like, yeah, I have those. I'm going to focus on Santa, Colorado, and Ambrose. I'm guessing was it the maps you'd like focus on?
Yeah, definitely. I was really confident, and I think that's why I lost them. I was too confident, maybe.
Yeah, that I can definitely imagine. And after that, you're just saying, yeah, you kind of switched off and you moved on, which is definitely commendable, because we were mentioning that at the beginning of the cast. Being able to just play on and forget about the mistakes is definitely admirable. And yeah, you took 4 maps after that to buy, so you definitely switched something on.
Yeah, and I mean, like, for us as shoutcasters and viewers, it was so awesome to see how even you two guys were. It was like so close. Just we discussed it earlier before you joined, Danny. Just like a few details and a few unfortunate rips on Ambrose and on Paris, what made the difference. It was so close. Both of you guys are so good. So PC and console are actually starting since this year. Are actually starting to get really balanced. We got so many strong console players. Speaking of one, we have Joker right here. Anything to add or ask to Danny, Joker?
No, I mean, like, again, like, congratulations back to back and 3 RRs that now. It just shows how strong of a player you really are. And yeah, I mean, I don't have any more questions. Just maybe how he deals with that initial losses. But if I'd have to ask him, it would be how did it feel running to that Yuki on Hokkaido? How did it feel like, okay, I'm near the finish here. Just please everything go well.
My heart was pounding. Like I was so nervous, and I know I played well on Hokkaido, but that's what happened on Dubai. I thought I played amazingly, but I lost. So you never know until you get that confirmation.
Were you nervous that the fall kill was going to make noise and turn the guards on the gondola platform around because you looked like you were just scanning to make sure nothing was going to go wrong? Or is that just general, like, Hitman paranoia?
Yeah, just general paranoia.
Gotcha. Well, I totally understand that. But yeah, I just want to echo what Joker said in that it's just really cool to see that this is, like, you're undoubtedly like among the best of what competitive Hitman players look like, and it's just so cool to see that this is where the bar is at. So you keep the bar set really high, and it makes everyone else better roulette players. So just a really awesome performance, so cool to see, and big GGs, dude. Very deserved win.
Thank you.
Yeah, very deserved win for sure. Danny, any final words, any last things you want to say here?
Yes, thank you for everyone who put this tournament together, the admins, the shoutcasters, and of course the viewers. And one more thing, shout out to Tuple Pecconi for teaching me how to win. I know that may not make a lot of sense for you guys, but it does for me. So that's it, and thank you everyone.
Well, I don't doubt it. He's another amazing player. So, yeah. Do you have any last words, Barb, Joker, Observer, regarding this match before I start thanking people and wrap things up?
It's just well played, Danny, and I hope we see Buff come back stronger next year. They said in the RRWC chat that he could retire, but we will love seeing Buff come in. And yes, he's come second in 3 tournaments out of the 4 this year. But hopefully he comes back strong next year. And if he does, I would not be surprised if he doesn't win one of them.
Yeah, this was just a really incredible match between two of the very best roulette players that our community has to offer, and I just hope that both of the players had fun. Obviously, a loss can sting for a little bit, and your nerves can feel jumbled and frazzled for quite a while after the match concludes. But I hope that everyone just enjoys good health and good spirits going forward between now and the next roulette tournament, because these matches are always so much fun, and it's just great fun to be involved with it. So,
yeah, definitely. I'd like to take this time to thank a whole bunch of people that were all involved here, of course. Well, we'll start with Janini, our roulette match admin here for this match. GG's were a lot of fun spins as well. Of course, Mr. Mike for all the amazing stuff that Hitmaps is giving us. It's absolutely amazing, and it gets better with each tournament. So definitely show Mikey some love as well. Of course, Observer and Gunter for the amazing artwork throughout the whole tournament, really, as well as Mando. Adoria for the tweets, of course. The casters here today and during the whole tournament, everyone here, of course, Barb, Joker, Observer, and Mando and Zuko for the final, but basically everyone that has casted this tournament could not have done this without you guys. We really appreciate all the casters and all the help. And of course, last but not least, all the viewers that are keep on watching every single match in huge numbers. It's amazing to see that you guys love roulette as much as we do. And yeah, just a big GG's to Buff Guy for finishing second, and of course the biggest GG to Dani for prolonging his title. And yeah, guys, thanks for being here with me for this cast. Barb, Joker, Observer. It's a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed it too.
Thank you. Great fun.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Any last words from you guys before I end it here?
I wanted to ask, are you planning to get your name on a couple more trophies, Danny, throughout the years? You still going?
We'll see.
Oh, the suspense.
That's a great answer. That's the best answer he could have given to that question. Well done, Danny.
I mean, and it's getting harder and harder each tournament as well. More and more players are reaching that high roulette ceiling. It's gonna get crazier and crazier. But yeah, again, guys, thank you very much. I hope you all had an amazing time, an amazing final, amazing tournament. And yeah, once again, much love to everyone involved and watching. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend and the holiday season coming up, of course. And lots of fun Hitman stuff. And looking forward to the new year as well with more roulette tournaments. Much love and see you.